Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Earthy Cookhouse. This is Ashti and I'm here to show you how to be a skilled plant-based chef and baker. At Earthy Cookhouse, we bring you the best plant-based recipes from around the globe. Okay, so today we're going to start with some mango delights made with a special ingredient, Borges Rice and walnut drink. This is a plant-based walnut milk which is made from walnuts grown on Borges' own farms, and of course it's packed with nutrition. So Indians already make a variety of mango-based dishes like aam papad, aam panna, aam shrikhand and more. But I'm sure you haven't heard of this one. It's an upside down mango cake. For those wondering what an upside down cake is, it's a cake where the fruit layer goes into the bottom of the pan, not on the top, and then it's topped with the cake batter and baked. So you know the interesting thing about upside down cakes is that they originated hundreds of years ago when people didn't have ovens and cooked on open fire. So when they wanted a sweet treat, they would line the bottom of the pans with fruit and pour the batter on top. Bake it in the oven, and once it was ready, the pan was flipped over and this gorgeous pattern of caramelized fruit was on top. I only learned about upside down cakes recently and I'm glad I did because it's so simple and versatile. The best part is that you can use any seasonal fruit for this recipe like pineapple, bananas, cherries, etc. Anyways, so let's begin. So for this recipe, we will have obviously two parts. The bottom layer will be the mango caramel layer and the top layer will be the top sponge layer. So for the bottom layer, we will need some castor sugar. 5 tablespoons of castor sugar is what I have here. So castor sugar is finer than regular sugar, so it dissolves more quickly, if you can see here, which is what we need for the caramel layer. Some vegan butter for the caramel and some ripe mangoes perfectly sliced. Now for the second part of the cake, which is the sponge layer. For this we will need some Borges walnut milk. Walnuts are a great source of nutrition, which is why I love the Borges plant milk. Some all-purpose flour or maida, which I have sifted, some baking powder and baking soda and vanilla extract. 1 cup of vegan yogurt. I actually really love using vegan yogurt in baking because it replaces the egg perfectly and it adds this really good fluffiness. Some vegan butter. Here you can replace the vegan butter with any neutral flavored oil, and of course some sugar to sweeten the cake. So the first step is to preheat the oven to 160 degrees and line your cake with parchment paper. Okay, so the first step is making the caramel. In a pan we add the castor sugar and some vegan butter. Heat it on a low heat. You just want the sugar to melt. Be careful not to burn it. So give the mixture a stir from time to time and you can see that the color is becoming like an amber brown. This has a few more minutes, so I'm just going to let it sit for a minute or so and we'll see it change into a little bit of a darker color. Okay, so now this is done. Be careful not to leave it on for too long, as then the mixture will turn bitter and can also burn. Also, please be very careful when you're working with caramel because it's extremely hot. Now that the caramel is done, this is what it looks like, and we're going to add it onto the baking pan. We pour the caramel layer into the cake tin, covering as much as possible, and use a spatula to spread it evenly all over. So you can see it's all in the bottom of the pan now. It's even, and this is when I add in the fresh mango slices. Now it's time to neatly lay all the mango strips in the cake tin, starting with the edges first and working your way in. So now the caramel layer is ready. We just set it aside, let it cool, and quickly make the cake batter. Okay, now we're ready to make the cake batter. Get some mixing bowls out. In a bowl, add the sugar, vegan yogurt, vegan butter or oil, and some vanilla extract. Now it's time to whisk this until it's well combined. You can use a hand mixer or even an electric mixer, whatever you have. If you have a hand mixer, this might take a little longer. Okay, so this is taking forever with a hand whisk. Our dear friend Kamal has found me an electric whisk, and that's what I'm going to use now. And I suggest you do the same if you have one at home. Okay, so now this is done. This is how it should look. It's all well combined. Now it's time for me to mix my dry ingredients and then add it to this. So now let's put in the dry ingredients. We have the maida, baking powder, and baking soda. And I'm just going to mix this so that it's well combined. Now just add in the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and gently fold it in. Just make sure not to overmix the batter, because then that makes the batter a little chewy. So this is done. Now it's time to pour this into the cake pan. So now the caramel layer is also set. It's time to pour this in. You can see how thick the batter is. And now just use your spatula and even it out onto the pan. Just remember to smooth out the cake as much as possible, because remember, this is going to be the bottom of the cake. We're going to flip it over and it should be kind of flat. Okay, so the mango upside down cake is ready. It's still a little hot. So I baked it in the oven at 170 degrees for about 40 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. I'm going to cool it for about 5 minutes and then we're going to flip it onto the plate. And now for the most exciting part of the recipe, flipping the cake onto your plate. Take your best ceramic dish. It should be flat like this, and I'm going to show you how to flip it. So use your oven mitts if it's still hot. Mine seems a little hot. Open the tart pan slowly and put your plate on top. Now it's time to flip like this. The caramel has come out a little bit, but that's fine. We can just tap it slowly. And it's almost perfect. And that's our beautiful mango upside down cake. Okay, it's time to cut the cake now. Okay, so it's time to taste the dish. I'm so excited. You can see the crumb, it's nice and fluffy. It's so good. It's light and moist. I really don't even miss the cream or frosting because the gooey mango caramel layer is just divine. You definitely won't be able to tell that this is made without eggs and milk, which is why I love experimenting with vegan baking. Okay guys, hope you try making this mango upside down cake and enjoy it as much as we did. See you in the next episode of Earthy Cookhouse, where I will create another unimaginable plant-based version of a classic dish. Stay tuned.